Good morning, folks. This is Naim Azam, Chief Market Analyst at Evertrade, and welcome to our daily technical analysis video. Folks, today I am going to look at sterling. The reason for that is there are a number of announcements on the fundamental side which are really coming up on both sides. Because if we are looking at sterling against the dollar, there are announcements on both sides of the equation. What do I mean by that? There are announcements on the dollar side, and there are also some new developments on the sterling side as well. So both governments and both central banks from the both side, they've announced something new, and that is really impacting this currency pair. So it is quite important for us to have a look at the price action and also have a look at the index, the Footsie index, which is the underlying index for the UK 100 top stocks. It represents the top 100 stocks over in the UK. So let's have a look at both of them and then see what exactly it means in terms of its technical analysis. And more importantly, folks, where are those important support and resistance levels? And with respect to support, I mean, where is that possible entry point with respect to sterling, with respect to the Footsie, and resistance is that if you are already in the price in this trade and you are looking to get out of this trade or take some profit, where is that potential point? So we'll discuss all of that. But before we do it, as always, it is important for us to go through this slide of disclaimers and risk warnings. Anything which we'll be discussing in this particular video cannot be perceived as an advice. Now, as always, what I want to do first of all is I wanted to bring out the Bloomberg platform first. And what I want to do is I wanted to read some of the headlines together with you guys in order to make sense of that. So see what exactly is going on. So currently, as you can see that sterling dollar is trading at 1.26, something that I predicted several times when the sterling was trading at 1.33. If we go back into our videos and then look at the sterling dollar video that I've done previously, you will see that I have been short on this particular trade since 1.32, and I've been holding this view that this currency pair is way overvalued. There's nothing good about that, because when we look at sterling, we have concerns about coronavirus, we have concerns about furlough scheme. Furlough is the job, the job support where the government is keeping the jobs number higher artificially. So we have concerns about that because that is about to finish. And then this, the new targeted lockdown are also impacting the economic activity, and then there is a stronger possibility of another national lockdown taking place as well. So because, Boris Johnson, who's the Prime Minister of the UK, he said that, look, if public doesn't really obey the restrictive measures, we'll have no other choice but to apply those restrictive measures. So, there's a lot of concerns with respect to that. If a full national lockdown is introduced, that means a huge disaster for the economy. So, of course, traders and investors are very much concerned in relation to that as well. So let's have a look at some of the recent headlines with respect to that. So something which really pops out straight away for me is that, pound falls to a 2-month low on concern of a second lockdown. So there you go. This is something what we have discussed, but now that, that there is a serious concern in relation to a second lockdown, that there could be a second lockdown in the UK. So what we've seen over here is exactly that in this particular headline. And then we have this, so the UK's Rob says that idea army will be deployed is, so let's just, that's not too much important, but this is quite important, that Rob says UK government is looking at targeted measures, right? So let's continue to look at from here in order to make a little bit more sense. COVID measures serious, targeted, proportionate. Okay, another headline, Foreign Secretary Robert comments on Sky News, says, okay, that's something to do with the army. We don't really want to do that. We can't rule out the second UK lockdown. So again, this is about the second lockdown that he's talking about. And he thinks Sunak not minded to wholesale extend furlough plan. So this is quite important. So basically what he's saying over here is Sunak, he's the Treasury Secretary. So it's not going to be like before, that everyone is going to see that furlough plan support like so far we have seen. So now that furlough support is going to become even more targeted. So how that is going to become more targeted, we will still see more details in the coming days. But that is something that is quite an important one in terms of a headline. And then there is also, this is the Brexit related news, that UK warns 7,000 trucks could be forced to queue in Kent. So that is like, if Brexit happens without a deal, so that is still quite worrying, that how that is really going to really impact the overall Brexit over related issues. And then that is pretty much it. So these are the predominant stories with respect to that. Now, by reading these important headlines, by reading these news, we have to form an opinion. So one of the opinion comes that, okay, so Brexit remains a major issue. And then we have, UK's Rob. He's talking for the Foreign Secretary. He's saying that, okay, you know what, the second lockdown still remains a potential threat, and that is still likely to happen despite the targeted lockdown measures. That is second bad news right over here. Okay, so we have two bad news. So the first one is right over here. Where did that go? So the Foreign Secretary, Rob, he's talking about, and then he says, the more lockdowns are coming, and then there's this news about 7,000 trucks, which is related very much to Brexit. And then we have this one that, okay, one positive news, which says that yes, the UK government is looking at, to extend some of those measures with respect to furlough, but it is going to be targeted one only. So meaning that if it is going to be only targeted, it's not a wider support for the whole economy, which we really need right now. But that is not what we are getting. But regardless of that, pound has fallen to 2-month low on concern of this. So that is pretty much it. So overall, the impact of all of this news since yesterday, the impact is very much negative, and that is what we are really going to look at in terms of a price action now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out the MT4 platform, and I'm sure all of you guys are very much aware of this platform and how to trade that, and we're going to look at the price action. Now, first of all, what I look at is that this is the highest high on the day on a weekly time frame, and then this is the recent high. So this so we have two important price action over here as well. Number one, we have first price coming, making the high right over here, and then we have another price coming right over here. So these two, they are called double tops. In terms of a technical price levels, without making it things too complicated, whenever we have a double top forming, that means that the prices are likely to move to the downside, right? And that is exactly what happened over here. And that when price was trading in around this price level, I was talking about in my previous videos that, look, this price movement is way too much. It doesn't really make sense for me for the price to continue its journey from the upside, because there's so much uncertainty with respect to coronavirus, and of course with respect to coronavirus, with respect to Brexit. So the prices are likely to move to the downside, and now the prices have actually moved to the downside. Now, two important things with respect to the daily time frame is that this green line right over here, this represents your 50-week average price for sterling dollar, right? And then this one represents your 100, and this represents your 200, this represents your 100, and this one, this purple one right over here, it represents your 50-week moving average, so 50-week average price for sterling dollar. Now, what we see in terms of the prices, the price has not only crossed below the 200 moving average, the first week signal, and then the second comes right over here, because the price has crossed below the 150-week moving average as well. So what does this mean? Why it is very important? If that is the question that you are asking, the answer is very simple, because the moment the price crossed below these moving averages, especially these ones, traders and investors are, what they do is, the strategy is very simple. The moment the price crosses below that, you go short, you sell the currency, and the moment it crosses above that, you buy that currency. That is how simple it is. Nothing more than that. So as you can see from here, when the price crossed below this 200-week moving average, look how far the price went. The price went all the way to here. And then when the price crossed above this 50-week moving average, look how far the price went. The price continued to move up, and it came right over here. So that is what we are really looking at with respect to the moving averages, and they always have quite a lot of importance. And we have seen this time over time, because right over here, the price crossed below the 200-week moving average, and it continued to move higher, lower, 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 right over here until the price formed is the lowest point. And when the price crossed above its 50-week moving average, which was right over here, then the price moved higher, and then it also crossed above the 100-week moving average. And then again we saw the weakness, and that weakness came when the price crossed below its 200-week moving average over here, as I explained earlier, and then the move continued all the way to the downside. And now we have this another opportunity where the price has crossed below its 200-week moving average, and this means that the price is going to continue to move to the downside. Now the question, if you are asking yourself that, okay, Naeem, we understand this, but where exactly, how far this move can really extend to, how far can we really move with relation to this price? Well, for me, the immediate support level in terms of a price, or the level where we can see some sort of a buying pressure coming in, is going to be between 1.20 to 1.21. But remember, if there is a no-deal Brexit, if that ever takes place and if the pressure continues in that direction, then do not forget that this price movement that we are seeing, that this current where the price has broken below its 200-week moving average, it can not only come up to here, but in fact from here the move can easily extend towards this direction. So that is what we've got to really keep an eye on. So the first move right now is more about it in this support area. But if there is no deal Brexit, the move is likely to be over here or well below this particular price level. So that is what we are really focused on. Now, in terms of Footsie, very quickly looking at the Footsie 100 index as well, what we're seeing about Footsie is that there's nothing positive about Footsie 100 index really, because first of all, again, the price is trading below this downward trend line, and as long as the price stays below this one and we don't get a break to the upside, there is no hope for this trend to continue to the upside. There is no hope for the bulls, right? But more importantly, if we look at the price action, we are trading below all these three important moving averages right over here. And again, this confirms our earlier stance that as long as the price stays below them, as long as the price doesn't cross above this critical 50-week moving average, which is trading right over here, there is no hope for this bull rally to continue. And so what does that mean? If that is you are asking me, if the question is that, okay, we understand, but where the price is likely to continue to move from here. So for me, this particular move can easily continue towards its next level, which is right over here. This is the level of support, the first one, 5,300. And if this doesn't hold, then we are moving into this area right over here. That is the next potential support area. Now, if the question is, okay, if we do break out of this resistance to the upside, let's say if the price does break from here and then starts to move higher, then where is that important level of support or resistance? Where can we take our profit? Then for me, for that resistance, or where we can see some sort of a profit taking, if the price continues to break to the outside, is going to be right over here in this area, which is between 6398 to 6522. So these are the areas that I'm really looking at. All right, folks, that's all for today, and I'll see you guys next time.